10 ways to make a man miss you so bad. Have you ever noticed that the women men seem to miss the most are not always the most beautiful? They're not always the richest. They're not always the most famous. In fact, sometimes the woman a man can't stop thinking about isn't the one who did the most for him. She's simply the one who left a lasting impression. And that's what most people get wrong. They think making someone miss them is about playing games, waiting 3 hours to reply, making someone jealous, pretending not to care, but those tricks might get attention for a moment. They rarely create genuine longing. Today, I want to tell you a story about a woman named Sarah, because Sarah learned a lesson that completely changed the way she approached relationships. The story that changed everything. Before we continue, I want to tell you something that happened to Sarah a few years before she met Daniel, because this is where she learned the lesson most people never learned back then. Sarah was dating a man named Chris, and if she was being honest, she was obsessed with him. Not in a healthy way, in the kind of way where her mood depended on his texts. If he replied quickly, she felt happy. If he took hours to respond, she felt anxious. If he posted online but didn't answer her message, her mind immediately jumped to the worst conclusions. She didn't realize it at the time, but she had slowly handed over control of her happiness. And Chris felt it. People always do. At first, he enjoyed the attention. Who wouldn't? Having someone constantly available feels flattering. But after a while, something changed. The mystery disappeared. The excitement faded. The challenge was gone. Sarah became predictable. Every morning she texted first. Every night she called first. Every disagreement ended with her apologizing first. And one day, she overheard something that shattered her heart. Chris was talking to one of his friends. His friend asked, "What if Sarah leaves?" Chris laughed. Then he said something she never forgot. "She's not going anywhere." The words hit her like a truck, because he wasn't saying it with confidence. He was saying it with certainty. The certainty that came from knowing she'd tolerate almost anything. That night, Sarah cried herself to sleep. Not because Chris had said something cruel, but because deep down she knew he was right. She had stopped being a partner. She had become a guarantee, and guarantees are rarely appreciated. A few weeks later, the relationship ended. Sarah thought her world was over. She spent months wondering why. What had she done wrong? Why wasn't she enough? Why didn't he miss her? Then one evening, she sat with her grandfather on his front porch. The sun was setting, birds were chirping, and for the first time in months, she told someone how she really felt. After listening quietly, her grandfather asked a simple question. "Who were you before you met him?" Sarah looked confused. "What do you mean?" He smiled. "I mean, before he became your whole world." She sat there silently because she couldn't answer. She barely remembered, and that's when she realized the problem. She hadn't lost herself overnight. She had lost herself one compromise at a time. One canceled plan at a time, one ignored boundary at a time, one sacrifice at a time, until eventually, there wasn't much left. That realization changed everything. Instead of trying to make Chris miss her, she started rebuilding herself, and that's exactly when her life began to improve. Not because a man came back, not because she got revenge, but because she rediscovered herself. And that's the foundation of everything we're talking about today. Because the women men miss most are usually women who never lost themselves in the first place. Why absence only works when presence had value. Think about that for a second. People often say, maybe I should pull away so he'll miss me. But absence alone doesn't create longing. If that were true, every stranger on earth would miss each other. What creates longing is valuable presence, followed by absence. Imagine your favorite restaurant suddenly closes. You miss it. Why? Because it added something positive to your life. Now imagine a restaurant you've never visited closes. You don't care. The difference is value. The same principle applies to relationships. When someone consistently brings positivity, support, laughter, peace, and inspiration into your life, their absence becomes noticeable. Sarah understood this after she started dating Daniel. Instead of trying to impress him constantly, she focused on creating genuine moments. One afternoon, they got caught in a rainstorm. Their phones died. Their car broke down. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. Yet years later, it became one of their favorite memories. Not because the situation was perfect, but because of how they felt during it. That's what people miss. Not perfection, connection. The moment Daniel realized he missed her, one summer, Sarah traveled for 3 weeks to visit family. Nothing dramatic happened. No breakup, no argument, no games. She simply left. The first few days, Daniel enjoyed the extra free time. He played video games, watched movies, caught up on work, but then something unexpected happened. Little reminders started appearing everywhere. A coffee shop they used to visit, a song she loved, a joke only she would understand, a restaurant where they had their first date. Suddenly, ordinary places felt different. Not bad, just incomplete. One evening, Daniel sat alone eating dinner. Without thinking, he picked up his phone to text her. Then he remembered she was asleep because of the time difference. And for the first time, he realized something. He missed her. Not because she was unavailable, not because she ignored him, not because she played games. He missed her because she had become part of the moments he enjoyed most. That's the kind of missing that lasts. The kind that comes from genuine connection rather than manipulation. And that's exactly what you're aiming for, not temporary attention, not emotional tricks, but meaningful presence. Because attention is easy to get. Being unforgettable is much harder and much more valuable. The biggest secret nobody talks about. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. The less obsessed you become with making someone miss you, the more likely it is to happen naturally. Because people are attracted to those who have purpose, direction, confidence, peace. When your entire focus becomes another person, you lose those qualities. But when your focus becomes building an incredible life, something strange happens. You become magnetic. Not because you're trying to be, but because fulfillment is attractive. And people notice it. The most memorable women aren't usually the loudest, or the most dramatic, or the most attention-seeking. They're the women who walk into a room completely comfortable with who they are, and when they leave, people feel their absence. Not because they demanded attention, but because their presence genuinely made life better. And through her story, you'll discover 10 powerful ways to make a man miss you so bad that he can't stop thinking about you. Let's begin. Number 1. Stop making him the center of your world. Sarah met Daniel at a friend's birthday party. The connection was immediate. They talked for hours. They laughed together. And before the night ended, they exchanged numbers. At first, everything felt exciting. Every notification made Sarah smile. Every phone call made her day better. But then something happened. Without realizing it, Daniel became the center of her world. She rearranged her schedule for him. She canceled plans for him. She checked her phone, constantly waiting for his messages. The more available she became, the less effort he seemed to make. One day, her grandmother told her something she never forgot. People appreciate sunshine more after a rainy day. Sarah didn't understand at first. Then it clicked. If someone has unlimited access to your attention, they often stop valuing it. The next week, she started focusing on herself again. She went back to the gym. She spent time with friends. She picked up hobbies she had abandoned. And suddenly, Daniel became more interested. Why? Because her life no longer revolved around him, and that made her more attractive. Number 2. Build a life worth missing. A few months later, Daniel asked Sarah a question. What were you doing all weekend? You seemed busy. She smiled. She had attended a cooking class, gone hiking, spent time with family, and started working on a side business. The truth is simple. People miss people who have exciting lives. Nobody sits around wondering about someone who spends every day doing the exact same thing. But when your life is full of purpose, growth, and experiences, people become curious. Daniel started wondering what Sarah was doing, what she was learning, and what she was planning next. Curiosity is the beginning of missing someone because people can't miss what feels predictable. They miss what feels valuable. Number 3, give him feelings. He can't find everywhere. One evening, Daniel had a terrible day. Work was stressful. His boss criticized him. Nothing seemed to go right. When he called Sarah, she didn't lecture him. She didn't make the conversation about herself. She listened, really listened. By the end of the conversation, Daniel felt better. Months later, he admitted something surprising. It wasn't your looks that made me fall for you first. Sarah laughed. What was it then? You made me feel understood. That's when she realized something important. People don't miss people. They miss emotions. They miss peace. They miss laughter. They miss comfort. They miss feeling appreciated. The more positive emotions someone associates with you, the harder it becomes to forget you. Number 4, don't chase what should come naturally. One day, Daniel stopped texting as much. Sarah panicked. Her first instinct was to send message after message, to ask what was wrong, to force a response. Instead, she did something different. Nothing. She focused on her own life. A few days later, Daniel reached out. He explained he had been overwhelmed with work, and then he said something interesting. "I actually missed talking to you." Imagine that. Had she chased him relentlessly, she would have removed every opportunity for him to notice her absence. Sometimes people need space to realize your value, not because you're playing games, but because constant availability leaves no room for appreciation. Number 5, become better every month. Over the next year, Sarah transformed her life. She became healthier, more confident, more disciplined, more successful. The change wasn't overnight. It happened through small daily actions. Every month she improved in some way. When Daniel looked at her, he saw growth, and growth is attractive. Many people stay exactly the same year after year, but a person who continuously evolves becomes impossible to ignore. People naturally miss those who are becoming more than they were yesterday. Number 6, create moments that stay forever. Years later, Sarah couldn't remember every text message. Neither could Daniel, but they both remembered one night. A power outage had hit the entire neighborhood. No phones, no television, no distractions. They sat outside under the stars and talked for hours. Dreams, fears, childhood memories, everything. That night became one of Daniel's favorite memories. The lesson? People forget conversations, but they remember experiences. Create moments worth remembering, because memories are what people replay when they miss you. Number 7, confidence creates distance from desperation. Sarah eventually learned another lesson. Confidence and desperation cannot exist in the same place. When she doubted herself, she constantly needed reassurance. When she became confident, she stopped needing approval. Confidence changed everything. She walked differently, spoke differently, thought differently, and Daniel noticed. The strongest attraction often comes from someone who knows their worth without needing to announce it. Confidence makes people realize your presence is valuable, and valuable things are missed when they're gone. Number 8, let there be some mystery. Sarah wasn't secretive, but she also didn't share every detail of her life online. She didn't document every meal, every outing, every conversation. Daniel once admitted something funny. "I like not knowing everything about you." She laughed. "What does that mean?" "It means there's always something new to discover." Mystery creates curiosity. Curiosity creates interest. And interest often turns into longing, not because you're hiding, but because you're allowing people to continue discovering you over time. Number 9, respect yourself enough to walk away. The biggest turning point came when Daniel made a mistake. He began taking Sarah for granted, not intentionally, but it happened. And instead of begging for attention, Sarah calmly addressed the issue. When nothing changed, she stepped back. She respected herself enough not to accept less than she deserved. For the first time, Daniel experienced what life felt like without her constant presence, and suddenly he realized how much she meant to him. People often recognize value after it's absent, especially when that value came from someone who respected themselves. Number 10, be impossible to replace. Years later, Sarah and Daniel reflected on their relationship. Daniel said something that stayed with her forever. "You know why I missed you whenever you weren't around?" Sarah smiled. "Why?" "Because nobody else was you." Not because she was perfect, not because she was flawless, but because she was authentic. She was kind, supportive, funny, ambitious, and completely herself. That's the secret most people never understand. You don't make someone miss you by becoming like everyone else. You make someone miss you by becoming the best version of yourself. Final thoughts. If you take nothing else from this video, remember this. The goal isn't to make someone miss you through manipulation. The goal is to build a life a personality, and a presence that leaves a positive impact on the people around you. When you're confident, purposeful, self-respecting, and genuinely happy, your absence naturally gets noticed. Because people don't miss perfection, they miss connection, they miss memories, they miss feelings, and most of all, they miss people who brought something special into their lives. So stop trying to force someone to miss you. Focus on becoming unforgettable. And the right person won't need a reminder. They'll think about you all on their own. If this helped you understand the pattern, follow soft power psychology for more clarity, not confusion in love, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next breakdown. Soft power psychology, where emotional patterns become power, pain becomes wisdom, and silence becomes self-respect.